persecution of Christians in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East is widespread and often leads to death. But now, after a change in the rules for sainthood, some could soon be recognized by the church. Our Lauren Ashburn has more with an expert on the subject.
Joining us now is John Allen, editor of Crux, a Catholic news publication. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, Lauren, good to see you.
You say the Pope's new pathway to sainthood highlights anti-Christian violence. What do you mean by that?
Well, Pope Francis recently overhauled the rules for sainthood, essentially adding a new pathway to a halo. Traditionally, the two main pathways were either martyrdom, that is, being killed in explicit hatred of the faith for explicitly religious motives. And you can think of Father Jacques Hamel, who was killed by two assassins professing loyalty to ISIS while saying Mass. That was a classic instance of martyrdom in the full sense. The other pathway to sainthood has been heroic virtue, that is, possessing the virtues of the faith to a heroic degree, an extraordinary degree. Pope Francis has now added a third category, which is the offer of one's life, that is, voluntarily giving up one's life for someone else. And this tracks much better with the contemporary realities of anti-Christian persecution. We live in a world in which there are an estimated, somewhere between 100,000 and 10,000 new Christians killed every year for reasons related to their faith. But it's not always classic martyrdom. Let me give you a very concrete example.
Before you do that, can we talk about the two Catholic missionaries who were killed in Burundi in 2011? Would that be a good example?
Well, that's another great example,
yeah.
Right. There was a Catholic nun by the name of Lucretia Mamic, a Croatian, and an Italian lay missionary by the name of Marco Bardazzi, who were killed in 2011 when one of these lawless kind of criminal gangs raided the sisters' convent. Sister Lucretia was shot immediately in the head by them.
Awful.
Marco was taken hostage and then later got killed when they were trapped in a crossfire with police. Now, both of these people obviously gave up their lives for others. And it wasn't classic martyrdom. The guys who raided this convent weren't killing them because they were Christians, right? They just wanted to steal stuff.
But they could be considered under these new rules for sainthood, or for the halo, as you say.
They had chosen to live in one of the most lawless corners of the world, a place that was one of the epicenters of the HIV/AIDS virus, that has one of the lowest per capita incomes in the world, highest rates of infant mortality, on and on. Why did they choose to be there? They chose to be there because they felt called by God to do so. From their end, their giving up their life had everything to do with the gospel and with their faith, even though that might not necessarily have been the case with their killers. And in that sense, what Pope Francis has done is clear the way for raising to sainthood a much wider cross-section.
John Allen, editor of Crux, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome, Lauren.